If you meet with people remotely in any capacity, whether it be for your job or for school or for online board games or tabletop RPGs, this may be the video for you. The BenQ treVolo U changed the way that I do all of those, and it might do the same for you. During the pandemic itself, I'm not talking about the game, I'm talking about the whole COVID thing. Everything became virtual. My job went fully remote, my classes were all remote, and even my game nights all became online affairs. I also got very familiar with a scourge that is room noise and echoes, and I'm sure that if you've been in online meetings with folks, you know exactly what I'm talking about. BenQ contacted me about the treVolo U, which is a speaker geared toward the education market, but which translates very well into a bunch of other personal and business uses. You can find this online for $209 in the US, and I'll put a link in the description below. By the way, they did send me this unit for review, but they had no input into the content. All opinions are my own. The treVolo U is basically just a Bluetooth meeting speaker. If you work at a job where you have multiple offices, you've seen these. But what makes this one special is that it's geared toward home users, mostly in the remote education market, but also people who work from home. There are 3 different sound settings on the treVolo U. The first one is music mode, which EQs the sound so that it's good for music, meaning that there's more bass and more treble. You won't be disappointed if you have this and you wanna, cast some tunes from your phone or from your computer or something. If you have 2 of these, you can pair them together and now you have stereo sound, which is just awesome. It gives you a nice immersive experience. This makes for a great little speaker, especially given its flexibility. The second mode is called video learning, and this one focuses on just voices. So the EQ changes so it's more towards the middle and you're gonna hear a lot of vocal clarity. Now in both music and learning mode, the microphone stays off. With the third setting, the live learning, that changes and the mic goes on. Take a listen. This is what people listening to you will hear when you're using the BenQ treVolo U. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Now the system also has a setting called safe volume detection where it scans the room, figures out how far you are from the speaker and adjusts the microphone to get rid of extra sounds like extra room noise, echoes, and feedback. This is something you manually activate. For example, at one point I was chatting with someone just on the phone. I was using this as a phone speaker. They said that they could hear themselves from the speaker itself. I ran safe volume detection, which fixed it automatically. So yeah, be sure to calibrate the room noise for best performance when talking to people. If you don't want to use the onboard mic, there's a 3.5mm jack on the back that lets you plug in your own microphone. The battery lasts about 12 hours and they charge via USB-C. Also, this uses Bluetooth 5.0, so once it's connected to your device, it's connected. I haven't had it drop a connection, for example. You can connect the BenQ treVolo U to multiple devices, and all of them will be listed in the app, but you cannot use the app to switch between devices. You have to disconnect it from the devices connected to, and then go to the new device and connect it there. That is going via the Bluetooth setting. I'm assuming that you've already paired all of them. I did run into an issue with my iPhone and my iPad, and this did not affect either Windows or Mac or Android, so it's iOS and iPadOS specific. In your Bluetooth settings, you'll notice that you have 2 entries for the treVolo U, one of them with the little blue eye and one without the little blue eye icon. The one with the little blue eye icon is the one that you'll need when you want to disconnect from the current device. Again, I did not experience this in either Android or Windows or Mac, which reminds me. Firmware updates can't be done over the air or using the app on your phone or tablet. You have to actually go to the BenQ site directly, download it from there, and then run the update from either your Mac or your PC. I'd like to see this be updated with a future update and BenQ actually be able to deliver updates using the app itself for the device. Design-wise, I do love the way that it looks, and the buttons are easy to feel. Hey folks, Post-Edit Norb here. So as I was editing this, I realized that there were a couple of important things that I forgot to touch on. The first one is that there's a voice assistant to this called Tredo. So you press and hold the selection button, that's a little head icon, to turn it on. When you see the little green light, just say, "Hey Tredo," and the light will turn blue, and that's where you can pass some commands to it. So for example, volume up, volume down, switch modes, things like that. The other feature I wanted to mention was the customized sound profiles. Now the treVolo will run through a 6-frequency sound test, which changes the sound so that it's more clear and more enjoyable to you. There are 2 profiles that you can set up, one for music and one for voice. To set those up, in the app, you press and hold the little ear icon. Now, I do wish this was more obvious, that it was labeled better in the app or in the instructions. It's a pretty major feature too, because it actually makes the sound significantly different for you. Let me tell you, this can make a huge difference in the way this thing sounds, and not enough devices in this product category do that. So this is great to avoid things like ear fatigue or just to get the kind of sound that you generally want. Finally, as a special note, I just want to give a shout out to the product and support team at BenQ. The user experience is hands down my big thing, and this team made an already good experience with the product even better. So who's this for? This is marketed toward the education market, so students and teachers, but it can be used by a broader audience. Business people, digital nomads, digital minimalists. I used it for business meetings at work. I used it for meetings with my family and friends. I use it for phone calls. I use it for game nights. In fact, it's absolutely perfect if you're a fan of online gaming. And by that, I mean something like board games on Board Game Arena or tabletop RPGs using Roll20 and Discord, for example. After having used it for a while, I sort of love it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you like what you saw, hit that like button and please consider subscribing. With that said, I'll see you next time. Quick confession, I'm an RPG nerd. I have Dark Sun books here, so Dungeons and Dragons. I happen to like tieflings. No, they're not related to Dark Sun. Pathfinder here on this side. I have the Monster Manual 2nd edition, so I've been playing for a long time. One of the ones that I really enjoy is this one, Dark Heresy, which is based on the Warhammer 40k universe. Sushi Go here, which is a lot of fun to play with families. I have a couple of Kickstarters here. There's Entropia and Solar Storm. Both of them are enjoyable. One of them is a competitive, one's a collaborative game. I have Celestia, which is a bit of a betting game. Then there's Azul. Now, Azul is one of my absolute favorites. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one over here. The whole stack over here. So you can see I have a few board games. I'll go ahead and put those there. I hope they don't break the table.